So check this out. In February of this year, Blue Owl, a major private lender, they limited how much money investors could withdraw or take out.
Investors, though, continue to sell shares of Blue Owl. What's the latest? What's the latest update?
Well, we're still seeing the stock down, obviously. The bonds are under pressure. I mean, I think the two big questions now are, one, how much stress is in their portfolio? But not just Blue Owl, but the whole private credit business had a lot of exposure to technology and software. Those loans are coming due. They all need to be rolled over. What happens next?
At the same time, the industry claimed almost none of its loans were actually going bad. Now, both things can't be true at the same time, right? The industry has found ways now, though, to rescue troubled loans without officially calling them defaults. And once you understand how this actually works, you may never trust another headline claiming the credit market is healthy ever again. Hi there, everybody. Steven here again. Now, if you normally come to this channel just for Vegas stuff and you're wondering why you're seeing a video about private credit, let me explain now what's actually happening. See, this channel may have started years ago focused on just Vegas, but a very large part of my audience actually comes here from economics videos. So now I'm putting out a series of economics videos on Wednesdays, along with Vegas-only content on Mondays and Fridays, plus Vegas streams. I'm going to give you the same kind of deep analysis that many of you already come here to watch. Now, I explained exactly where the channel is going and why I'm doing this in a video. There's a link to that video pinned in the first comment down below if you want the full explanation. So for now, just go ahead and give this video a like, but don't subscribe yet. I want you to do that only when you think I actually really deserve it. Oh, and one last thing, this is a no AI script zone. The visuals, they're based on research that I did using AI tools so I can crank out stuff faster, but it's just me talking. So first, what exactly we have to ask is private credit. And it's actually pretty simple. See, instead of borrowing from a bank, a company borrows from a private investment fund. And today, those funds, they control roughly $1.7 trillion in loans. Now, the official story says that only a little over 2% of those loans are actually going bad, but when Fitch counted loans being quietly rescued, it was closer to 9%. That's about 4 times worse than they're telling you. So how can both sets of numbers coexist? Because a company can be unable to pay a loan back without the loan officially being called a default. So imagine a company owes $10 in interest, but they don't have the money to pay it. So instead of declaring that company unable to pay, the lender is just going to add another $10 to the loan. So now the lender is going to be asking for $110 instead of $100 owed. Now, no money actually changed hands here. The company's problem just got a little bit worse, but on paper, it never missed a payment. The industry calls this a payment in kind, or a PIK. I'll call it paying one debt by creating another. It's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. And that's how bad loans just disappear from official default numbers without the actual problem itself disappearing. Now, the lender, they can delay payments, they can extend loans, and they can add unpaid interest to the balance, while they're still telling all their investors that everything is good, it's all healthy. And what analysts call this, though, is the shadow default rate. Now, here's where it stops being somebody else's problem and becomes yours, though. Because banks often lend to private funds making these loans. The risk didn't disappear, it just moved one step away and it was called something else. And these loans, they don't trade every day, so there may be no honest price. The fund that owns the loan, they may also estimate what the loan is worth. That's like letting a used car seller choose the price and treating that guess as like a complete fact. The loans, of course, are private. The rescue deals are private. Even the values of these things are private. And that's what the shadow in shadow banking is actually all about, just stated out loud. Now, quick pause here, because if you like the way I break down complicated financial information and turn it into something you can actually understand, I need you to know, capitalizing from all of this and making your life better, that's exactly what I teach in my trading program, 1K a day. Most people, they see a chart and they go into it with no real system. They click around, they chase price, they hope they got the direction right. But I teach over 1,500 traders how to look at a chart, instantly know when they can click a button if it goes up or down, and how they can build a better future for themselves. Most of my traders are averaging $100 to $200 a day. And I got some that are pulling $5,000 a week from the futures markets in just 15 or 20 minutes a day. I also give you the rundown every single day on all my trades and what I'm doing on my channel, SJC Trades Futures. That's where I show you exactly where to click and how to be successful and where to avoid making mistakes. Now you can find the other channel in the pinned comment down below next to the link to 1K a day. It retails for $2,000, but because I want to help 10,000 people learn to trade, right now for just the first 3 people watching, 3, you can get the entire course if you use the code BLUE at checkout for just $197 lifetime access. And you would pay more for a single night out this weekend than you will for 1K a day. And you're going to own my course for life. And if after 30 days you don't see any progress, you can always email me, get a full refund. But I've only had that happen twice out of 1,500 people. Links are pinned down below. But for now, let's get back to the buried truth. Because the funds, they're not the worst of it. See, First Brands, that's a company behind auto parts brands like Fram and Autolite, the stuff you see at the AutoZone, they collapsed with more than $11 billion in bills and debt. Investigators are actually right now looking into claims that the same money was promised to more than one lender. And at the same time, another auto lender called Tricolor, they collapsed around similar claims. Now, Jamie Dimon, he's the head of JP Morgan Chase, he described the problem perfectly. He said, basically, when you see one cockroach, there's probably more somewhere else. And now insurance companies, they now hold about $1 trillion in private credit. This means these loans, they might be underneath policies and retirement products owned by you, normal people. Now let's zoom out for a minute because everything in life right now is K-shaped. And this is the K-shape playing out right inside the business, right on your main street in your town. This is also the spot where I ask you to subscribe, by the way, if you think I earned it. But at the top of the K, there's fund managers, and they're collecting fees while deciding what their own loans are worth. There's large investors who got out early and banks that gave the risk a safer looking label. But at the bottom, that's the business owner. That's the sole proprietor trying to rescue a deal because the only other choice may be closing entirely. It's the employee who works for them, seeing their hours get cut, and the retiree whose savings might be backed by a loan that nobody has honestly actually properly priced. So no, this isn't just about Wall Street. It's actually a small business story. It's a retirement story. Really, what it is it's your story. The numbers look fine, but the industry, they refuse to call it a default. Renaming the problem doesn't make the debts disappear. It just delays that moment when somebody admits what the loan's actually worth and the whole thing has the plug pulled. Now, I want you guys, if you're watching, to give me a one-word answer down below. If you own a business or you work for one that's borrowed money in the last 2 years, what was the rate? Was it under 10, over 10, over or under? You can just say over or under down below, because I want to see that split happening in real time. Now, there's a video next to my head explaining why everybody is missing the actual slow corporate death of Las Vegas. And you can click on that to watch that. Subscribe while you're here. And as we say around these parts, you got to learn, you got to keep your options open, and you'll always be successful if you just keep swimming. And just remember every day that God's got this.